So this is I want to say it's like a part 2 to the first video I did talking about HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX. I want to elaborate more on little ice shaking espresso going on. Want to elaborate more on why I think HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX are really going to change the landscape in crypto. First and foremost, all right, let's start from here. So the HEX ecosystem has an existing community of people that have been involved with HEX since HEX launched. Just like with anything, you know, HEX is no different, and HEX is not exempt from being called a scam and people thinking that it's not going to work, people doubting it. Everyone did the same thing with Bitcoin. You know, I'm pretty sure people did the same thing with Ethereum. They never thought that these things would ever become what they are. So unless you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't have known. You didn't know what these things were going to end up doing, and you didn't know what they would end up becoming. Okay? Just like with anything, when something comes along that changes, or I should say makes a pivotal change in an entire industry, you'll have something that comes along after that that can be a better version of that thing, and it can do something similar to what the thing did. Like, this is nothing new. It happens in technology. It has happened with technology companies. It's happened in healthcare. You know, any industry that you can think of, this is a dynamic that goes on. So it's not anything new. I don't understand why people, you know, have so much doubt about what the possibilities are, especially when something actually comes along and then it begins to prove that could be the case. Like, this is like, I'm referring specifically to HEX, because when HEX launched, of course it was called a scam. Richard Hart was called a scam, who was the founder of HEX. He was called a scam artist, still is. You know, everyone thinking that he's gonna do what many other people that have created cryptos have done, which is basically take all the money and run off. But he didn't do that yet. Some people still think he's going to do it, but he hasn't done it. It's been several years now having HEX in existence. He hasn't done it yet. He also came with the idea of creating PulseChain, which is a fork of Ethereum. So I'm building off of the first video that I did. So you need to watch that one if you haven't, because I talked about HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX, and the ecosystem and what the potential of these things are. In this video, I really just want to elaborate more on why it's very possible that these things will do very well moving forward into the future, and what perspective you should have as you move forward if you choose to participate in these opportunities. So as I mentioned in the first video, I look at HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX as one thing. So you can kind of think of it as far as me looking at it as one coin. Anytime I'm buying HEX, I'm buying HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX simultaneously. Every time that I buy HEX, or every time that I put money into the ecosystem. And this is another thing too. The way that I do it, which is also the way that I bought Bitcoin over the years, you know, in the past, is I gradually just buy a little bit every week. people get this thing where they're thinking that they're going to take $5,000 or $10,000, throw it in, and they're going to get 100x. They're going to turn $1,000 into $1 million. Now, I'm not saying that that's not possible, but what are the chances of you throwing $1,000 into anything, getting it into that thing at the very bottom, and then getting out of that thing at the very top? What are your chances of doing that? Slim to none, right? In fact, nobody does that. Even people who are early in an opportunity don't do that. No one catches the very bottom with all of the money that they invested into whatever it is. Nobody does that. And nobody sells it at the very top. It just is what it is. Like, you don't sell your whole bag at the top. You don't buy the whole bag at the bottom, and you don't sell the whole bag at the top. So you need to be in position to slowly and gradually build your bag. This is what I always talk about doing. This is what I do personally, and this is always what I will, explain to someone that I do when they ask. I'm not telling you to do it. I don't care what you do. I'm not giving you advice. This is not advice. This is me sharing my experience with what it is that I'm involved with, just like anything else that I do. So the way to build your bag, or the way that I built mine, and the way that I continue to build mine, is slowly and weekly. So every week, or however often you get paid, whatever money that you would have spent on shit like this, Starbucks, if you buying a bunch of Starbucks all the time, take your Starbucks money, take your beer money, take whatever little bit of money that you spend, which actually is not a little bit, because all that shit add up. There's times that I might spend $30 a week on Starbucks, sometimes more. But my thing is that I'm using that as an example of where you can cut back on something that you do that you really don't need to do, or just do less of it. So if I'm spending $50 a week, for example, on Starbucks, one week I have no Starbucks. That's $50. If I do that 2 weeks out the month, that's $100 right there. I could take that $100 and throw it into HEX. I'm just saying, this is how I would be doing it. I mean, I do way more than that because I generate cash flow from what I do for a living, which is professional trading. So I take my trading profits and I buy HEX with it all the time. That's how I build my bag up. But I'm just saying, on things that I'm spending money on that I don't have to, or that I can cut back on or spend less on, I could take that money and put it into something like HEX. Why? Why am I saying to even do that? Or why am I saying that I would even do that? I'm saying that because this thing is giving you an opportunity similar to the way that Bitcoin and Ethereum gave opportunities. These things came along and they did what no one ever would think that they would do. Nobody ever thought that any of this would happen, but it happened. That's my point. None of y'all thought it would happen. How many of y'all knew that Bitcoin would be 50,000 at one point? Excuse me. How many of y'all thought Bitcoin would be 10,000 or 1,000? I'm just saying. When Bitcoin launched early on, Bitcoin was the first one to do anything as far as crypto goes. So it was so early, the crypto industry was also early. By the time Ethereum came along, Bitcoin had already been around for years. So there was already a precedence for what could happen. Ethereum came along, did something crazy too. When Ethereum launched, it was around, I think it was around 30 cents or something like that. It might have been even less than that at one time, but I'm just talking about as far as when people really had an opportunity to get into Ethereum, using Bitcoin or using whatever they had at the time to actually put equity and assets into Ethereum and build a bag. And let's say you were buying Ethereum at $1. Like I have HEX streams, live streams that I've done where I talk about this example. If you were buying Ethereum at $1, the day came when Ethereum was $500 in price. The day came when it was 1,000. The day came when it was 2,000. The day came when it was 3,000, 4,000 in price. Nobody ever thought that it would do that. So my point is this: long-term vision and perspective. Get into something early on and build it slow. Like, I'm not telling anybody that I took $100,000 and just threw it in the HEX. I didn't do that. And I would never do that with anything. I'm always going to scale my way into an opportunity. I'm not going to just blow a bag on it and, you know, oh yeah, this is going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. I'm not going to miss it. I'm going to throw 50,000 in there. No, I'm not doing that shit. I ain't even throwing 1,000 in. When I start out, I'm starting with a few bucks. Start building it up small. That's how I do it. So this is what I've been doing with HEX. Now, as far as like what HEX is doing as far as price now, you got to understand something about crypto in general. Crypto moves crazy. The volatility in crypto is unlike any other asset. And that's the price that you have to pay in exchange for the potential to X. Now, if you don't know what I mean by X, I'm talking about multiplying your actual assets, the money that you put into it, multiplying your investment. That's Xing. And I'm talking about 50X, 100X, 200X, 500X. In exchange for the potential for that, you're going to have to deal with drops in price or declines in price 90%, 95%, 98%. Now there's a lot of, you know, coins and stuff out there that may drop that much and they never come back. But I'm not talking about those coins, because you can kind of see what coins are scammy. Like, you got to just do your due diligence. Certain things, you know, are designed a certain way where they're not a scam. And if you keep track of what the founders and different people involved in it are doing, the larger players, when you see what they're doing with money, as far as buying whatever that asset is, you kind of know, all right, nah, I don't think this right here ain't a scam. This is something else. That's what Ethereum is. That's what Bitcoin is. There's a bunch of other cryptos out there too that did it, where they dropped 98%, 99%, and they came back after and went further than they were in the last move up. So those drops, those declines, they're part of crypto. This is what I'm saying. So when I first started buying HEX, I talked about HEX for the first time back in March, or it might have been February. At that time, the price of HEX was around maybe between 3 and 4 cents for HEX. Now, mind you, relatively speaking, I'm late. I'm just starting to buy HEX. I'm late. This is back in March, February of this year. HEX launched two and a half years ago. 2019? Either 2019 or 2020, whenever it launched. I forgot. I don't even know how many years ago, but it launched several years ago. The price of HEX was where you see the price of PulseChain now. See how PulseChain is 0.000 and then 1 and whatever. It's 3 zeros and then a number. That's the price of PulseChain now. That's what HEX was doing. It even went lower than that. This was when HEX launched. And in fact, when HEX first launched, the price it launched at was closer to 4. So it was like 0.0004. And then it dropped from there. It dropped 98% from there after it launched. So it was like 0.0000 and then another zero and then a number. It was crazy. But again, it's something that has come along. It was designed a certain way. And over time, as people become aware of it and they become to, they come to realize what it actually is, they start to buy it. They're like, wait, no, hold on. HEX pays out yield, actually. Wow, so you actually earn more HEX just by staking it or locking it up for X amount of time. Yeah. I talk about that too. I have HEX stakes right now. 5-year stakes. 5 years from now, or from the day that I staked, I'm gonna have twice the size of that bag. So however much HEX I stake for 5 years, I'm gonna have twice as much HEX 5 years from now. Do you know what the price of HEX could be 5 years from now? I'm just saying, like, I have no idea. It might not be worth nothing. Some people out there believing, oh no, it's gonna go to zero, and Richard Hart is a scammer, and HEX is a scam. Well, you saying HEX is a scam, but when HEX launched and moved lower when it sold off, that was opportunity for somebody. And for anyone who was smart as far as this goes in this world, the objective is to buy low. So anyone smart, when you get these declines, they buy more. They build a bigger bag. Anybody that built their HEX bag up when it declined after it launched, built up a big ass bag. And if they held on to it, HEX went as high as 50 cents. It literally went up as high as like 10,000 times from the lowest point that it went to. And just like I said earlier, of course, you're not going to get that price. But let's say that you were able to build your bag because HEX launched and then it went down in price. So it gave you more time to build the bag at those lower prices, right? So you building up your bag at these lower prices, and then the price of HEX starts to move up over the course of time. So over the next year and a half, 2 years, the price of HEX moved up. So by the time it went up to a penny, then 10 cents, then 15 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents. When you saw those prices, if you were building your bag when it was at 0.0004 cents, 0.0005, you building your bag down at those prices, how much HEX do you have? So if you took the average price around the launch price alone, or even around the sacrifice price, people like to use that number, which is 0.0001. You took any of them prices in that average area, that's at least a 300 to 500x of your bag. Yeah, but HEX went back down. This is what crypto does, though. Ethereum did it. Ethereum went from $1 up to $20, dropped again. Went up to 50, 100, couple of $100, I think $200, somewhere in that area again, dropped again. Went up to over 1,000, dropped again. But then it went to 4,000. So this is what I mean about the moves. These are the inherent moves in crypto, period. So you got to be willing to accept that type of volatility in exchange for the opportunity. So that's really mainly what I wanted to talk about in this video. You got to accept the volatility in exchange for the opportunity. And you have to be, confident in what it is that you're actually investing in. Like, I'm very confident in this HEX ecosystem. I'm extremely confident. I'm not saying that I know something that someone else doesn't. That's not what I'm saying at all. But my point is that I am building my bag of HEX. I am building my bag of PulseChain, PulseX. That's it. Well, more, dude, where do you think the price is going? I honestly don't know, and I really don't care right now. It's too early to know. It's too early to even be concerned. I've been talking about this since February. What month are we in now? July? It's been a few months. What's that? February, March, April, May, June, July. 5 months. I've been building up my bag for 5 months. And just like I showed y'all, there's a post that I put out, a YouTube short. It's on this same channel. And make sure that you subscribe to this channel, man. I have some really good information here. But when I had bought some HEX, there was a time I bought HEX in March. It might have been either March or April. I think I paid 4 times what I just bought the same amount of HEX for the other day. Crazy. I paid 4 times as much then. So in other words, I'm paying 4 times less now. Opportunity. This is what I mean about building your bag the right way. Oh, well, HEX went down. Maybe you should get out of it. No, maybe you should get out of it. You sell. Why would I sell? I'm not gonna sell. I'm gonna buy more. I literally just bought the same amount that I paid 4 times as much for back in March or April. I just bought that the other day. I paid 4 times as much 4 months ago. All right, so anyway, I hope that this video is informative for people. I'm very passionate, not just about HEX. I'm passionate about the things that I do when I'm very confident in what it is that I'm doing, because I've studied and I've, done my due diligence, and I've taken the time to actually look at things and see what it actually is. Like I had to spend time and learn about crypto. I didn't always know everything that I know now. I had to spend time and learn about Richard Hart and HEX and understand, what he got going on. And this guy been doing he was doing live streams for, I think, a few years. These live streams would be 6-7 hours of him just talking, just spilling his guts about crypto and the industry and finances. Like he's not a stupid guy at all. He's a very smart dude. I pay attention to that. This the guy that created HEX. This the guy that created PulseChain. The same guy that created PulseX. They got the movie that's about to come out, I think in August, called The Highest of Stakes, that talks about him. This is the type of stuff that I'm into. Like this is me all day. I pay attention. It's the same dynamic that I use, with professional trading. You have to study the markets. You got to study crypto. Like, do your research and your due diligence. Don't stop. Like, just stop thinking everything is a scam because you don't understand it. That's what people love to do. But you're going to miss your blessing that way. But anyway, let me get off of this, man. So hopefully this will be informative and educational for you guys. And I got more content coming, of course. More content on the way. And y'all make sure that you subscribe to the channel. All right? Mark Fuller, TeamAlliance. I'm out. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.